Chapter 6. Everyone jumped a little in their chairs, and Quinn even let out a terrified squeal before covering her mouth and giggling. Caroline stood, looking shaken. Who could that be? Excuse me. Maddie shivered so violently that her hair was trembling. John noticed and stood. Maddie, are you okay? She shook her head, teeth chattering. He moved around the table and put his hand on her shoulder. The tremors stopped. Warmth seeped into her bones like water, filling her up. The sensation was so sudden, so at odds with the cold, that she jerked away from his hand. I'm fine. Just a little cold. Her words were hard, defensive. John nodded, concern etched in his frown line. The front door opened, and Maddie heard a voice that nearly set her back to trembling. Hey, is Maddie here? Kit's voice echoed down the hall like he was using a megaphone. Silence fell in the kitchen. Caroline took a heart-wrenchingly long time to respond. Yes, but she is grounded. Yeah, I know. Can I please just talk to her? It will only take a few minutes. Maddie knew what her mom would say, so she hurried out of the kitchen. No, you can't. You're most of the reason she's in trouble. She has her phone. Send her a text. Maddie nearly ran down the hall. She locked eyes with Kit over Caroline's shoulder. Maddie, he said. Her mom turned. Maddie, honey, go back to dinner. Maddie ignored her. Why can't he talk to me? She can't talk to you because she is the reason you're grounded. Kit's mouth tightened into a thin line. This is important. Maddie needs someone to talk to. Caroline spun on him so fast, Kit took a step back in surprise. Don't you dare tell me what my daughter needs. If she needs to talk, she can talk to me. Mom, Maddie began. Just let me... Don't argue with me about this. For once, just listen. You don't know what Maddie is going through, Kit said, voice rising. If you actually cared about her, you wouldn't be trying to force her to be something she isn't. She needs to talk to people that understand. What Maddie needs is less of you. Stay away from my daughter, Sarah. Caroline slammed the door in Kit's face. The house fell silent. Neither of them moved until they heard Kit stomp down the steps and into the night. After that, all Maddie could hear was her own breathing. Thankfully, no one else had followed them into the hall. They would all hear what came next, though. Maddie braced herself as her mother finally turned to look her in the eye. You are never to speak to that girl again. Kit's a guy, Maddie said reflexively. She immediately regretted it. Caroline exploded, voice tearing at Maddie like claws. Sarah is a girl. You are a girl. Nothing either of you can ever do will change the truth you were born with. She shrank away. Her mother didn't yell like this. Caroline was stern. She raised her voice sometimes, but she never yelled with this much anger and pain. Her mother's face burned red and spittle flew from her lips. Every argument Maddie had been about to make withered away before the storm of her mom's rage. Dark shadows writhed expectantly at the edge of her vision. From now on, you will stay away from Kit, and you will stay away from the people at that rally. Nothing good comes from them. Caroline stopped and took a long breath. Go finish your dinner. Maddie shook her head quickly. The thought of facing her sisters and John after what just happened made her feel like throwing up. I'm not hungry anymore. Then come sit down while John finishes. Mom, I can't go back in. Then go to bed. Caroline's voice rose again as she pointed up the stairs. I can't handle any more tonight, so just go. Maddie didn't wait to be told again. She turned and fled up to her bedroom where she locked herself in and cried for the second night in a row. The crying didn't put her to sleep this time. Once the tears dried up, Maddie lay on her bed in the dark, staring at the blank ceiling. Thoughts fluttered around in her head, but she was too frazzled to settle on any of them for long. For a while, Kit bombarded her with texts condemning her mom and calling Caroline a host of swear words, some Maddie agreed with, and some she didn't. His last two texts were the ones she was dwelling on, however. Kit. Screw your mom. K and J till the end. Mads, I know you're in pain. You need to talk to people that understand you. She hadn't responded. She didn't even know how to respond. Kit was right. She needed to talk to someone that understood, but she wasn't sure Kit or any of his friends actually understood her. She knew her mom didn't. But where did that leave her? Alone. Just like always. Unable to stay still any longer, Maddie threw open her window and crawled onto the roof with her blanket. She didn't know what time it was, but she'd heard everyone else come up to bed forever ago. The moon glowed bright overhead, the only celestial body visible through the light pollution. She fluffed the blanket and settled back against the wall beside her window like she always did. Then she held her breath and listened. Nothing but the sounds of the city. Her blood pounded in her ears after a moment, so she let the breath out in a whoosh. "You there?" she asked, hoping no one would answer and hoping that someone would. John's voice drifted easily to her from his window. "Are you asking me this time? Or the heavens again?" She sighed. Do you ever sleep? Do you?" The smile in his voice made her angry. "Stop that." "Stop what?" "Sleeping?" Maddie clenched her fists. She did not need more stress today. "No, stop avoiding my questions." "How do I avoid your questions?" "You do that. Instead of answering, you throw my question back at me." "It's annoying." "Why does it annoy you?" "Ah." She threw her hands up in the air and stood to go back in her room. The sound of soft laughter made her stop. "You already know you're annoying, don't you?" "It is one of my more difficult traits." He chuckled some more. "How about this? If you agree to talk to me openly, I will agree to answer more directly. Deal?" Maddie thought for a moment, then sat back down. "I will take that as a yes. So, to answer your question, yes, I do sleep on occasion." They sat in silence for a few minutes. Maddie tried to think about other things, but her mind refused to dwell on anything other than the look on Kit's face as the door slammed shut. She needed to find a way to redirect. "So, what was the point of the story?" No. That's cheating. We can't discuss the point until the story is finished. Telling you the point now would defeat the purpose. Besides, stories are one of the few pleasures I have in life. You wouldn't take that away from me, would you? Whatever. Now, who is evading questions? You agreed to answer openly. Maddie rolled her eyes. I'm not evading. Besides, that was a rhetorical question. He laughed again. You were evading, but you are also correct. Impressive knowledge of the English language. She ignored the compliment. So, you really won't tell me the point of the story? Not until the story is finished. I'm sorry you didn't get to finish it. Her own words surprised her. I'm sure we'll get another chance. He paused. Are you okay? I'm fine. She felt tears burning along her eyelids and pulled her knees up, hugging them tight. Is that an honest answer? She nearly choked on her own voice. No. Tears raced down her cheeks as she buried her face in her arms. Her breath came in gasps, shaking her body. Thankfully, John didn't press her. He let her sob herself out in quiet. She thought about being embarrassed that someone was listening, but she found it felt better to have him there. How strange. I'm sorry, she said when the fit finally subsided. The moon is bright tonight. She knew what he was doing. It helped. Thank you. Maddie laid her head against the house and looked out over the lights of the city. The lights twinkled and blinked all the way down the hill to the bay. The ocean waters were dark with only a few lights here and there bobbing across the surface. Those lights, the ones all by themselves on the water, were her. She was adrift in a turbulent sea with no rescue to be seen. A shiver swept over her. Why do I feel so alone? She hadn't meant to say it out loud, but that was what she usually did out here. She spoke her feelings aloud because it was the only place she could. By now, it was habit. We often feel alone when we don't know our place in the world. That's what drives you to push out from your family and talk to Kit's group of friends. It's what infects your dreams with hard questions and wakes you up at night to come out here and talk to the sky in hopes that some entity might hear you. You aren't going to start talking about your Jesus again, are you? John chuckled. My Jesus? Yes, I suppose that is one way to say it. Feels more like I am his, though. But no, you still aren't ready for that. Good. Would you like to hear a different story? Maddie thought about that. Is it another imaginary one like Bronte's? Bronte's story isn't imaginary, just not fully true. The story I am thinking of now is completely true. History, you might say. His words hung in the air, enticing and mysterious. Okay then. Excellent. You'll like this one. It, too, is about someone without a place in this world and what it took for him to find it. Maddie rolled her eyes even though he couldn't see her. So I am supposed to learn from it then? His voice warmed, laughter brightening his words. Why else tell a story, Maddie, if not to teach? The best stories always help you learn something about yourself because they reflect the true nature of humanity. I thought you said this was history. It is. Very, very old history, but a story too. Are you ready? Any more questions? You can start. He cleared his throat,